What's going on, folks? Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for joining into the stream. Welcome everyone. Kevin, welcome to stream. Olaf, welcome stream. Unforgiven Elder, welcome stream. Donnie, welcome stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's an absolute pleasure to have all of you guys right here live tonight. I don't know, man. I just wanted to go ahead and, start out a real chill stream. It's been very long since I've done stuff like this. Hold on, let me just pause the music. Or let me just play it real slow in the background, so kind of just sets the mood. So, yeah, like I was saying, it's been a very long time since I've streamed, and the last time we did it, I think it was probably when Assassin's Creed Shadows got its official gameplay reveal. And now it's finally time, Black Myth Wukong, the game that we have all been discussing for all this time, it's finally happening, it's here. I just can't believe this game turned out to be real. A lot of people have been making accusations that this game was not gonna end up being real, but turned out that that's not the case, which is a good part, by the way. Kevin, what's up, man? So no map in this game, right? Yeah, of course. The things that I've heard so far, I think there is no map, and some people actually say that it's a bad thing that we don't have a map in this game, and some people say that it's good that because we have a full-on immersion since we don't have a map and stuff. But yeah, I just feel like having no map in this game is actually pretty good stuff. It's a good thing. It just gives you a lot more of a immersion into the main storyline. What do you guys think about all the maps and stuff? Hey, by the way, thank you all for joining in. If you guys are here, and I would just ask all of you guys to go ahead and show your support by just dropping a like on the stream. It really goes a long way. Thank you all for tuning in. And yeah, let's go ahead and check out this brand new final trailer that, PlayStation has officially revealed for this game. And apparently, I've heard a lot of good things about this trailer. It seems like it's pretty good. I'm very hyped for this game, and recently I just got to know that there is not going to be any sort of physical copy for this game, and that really saddened me. I completely forgot that this game was not going to get any physical copies. I was actually expecting for one, and now I just figured out. I was trying to, pre-order the physical edition, and then I realized, well, there is no physical edition for this game, and that's bummer. Honestly, you know what? That's a big bummer. Why don't they have it for Xbox Pirate? Yes, that's a good question, by the way. So I think the developers have already given us a proper answer as to why they don't have the game on Xbox. The reason why is because it seems like the game actually needs a lot more time in order to get developed on the Xbox console. Apparently that's what the developers have said. But what I personally think is that Sony might have paid off the developers. It's like the behind the scenes stuff that just happened. Sony just paid them off so that they could delay the release for this game on the Xbox console, so more players would end up buying the PlayStation 5. And this is the sort of thing that Sony usually does. It's not of a big surprise. Usually Sony pulls off stuff like this, and I think that's pretty much what they did this time as well. So it's kind of, expected. I kind of just expected that move from Sony, but it's a bummer because, Xbox is doing everything they can to get all of their games out there on PlayStation and all the platforms, and Sony's still, holding on to all these exclusivity, and it just seems like they want to sell more consoles, whereas Xbox wants to sell more games. They want to sell more subscription services. That's probably why all of this happened. But yeah, the game is going to be delayed. As of now, we don't have a release date, so that's a bummer. A lot of people are going to get spoiled with whatever the content is out there on YouTube and stuff. So that's a bad stuff. Do you think they will bring in any patch updates because the same happens with Starfield game? Yeah, there's been plenty of stuff that's going on the internet, where people are saying that, you know, the game actually, after the second phase of the game, like there is level 1 and then level 2, or chapters or whatever that is, after you go through like the second chapter, there's supposedly the game is pretty much just broken. There seems to be a lot of issues and stuff. But if that's the case, I don't know if all the review outlets are going to give the game like a pretty bad score, if that was true. But since that's not true, only some review outlets like IGN, which we pretty much know what they are, and we also have Screen Rant, who seem to have been this whole new guys that just came out and joined the bandwagon of banishing some games that does not support DEI. You know, DEI just kills gaming, and I strongly stand on this point. I don't care if any companies, you know, cancel me for this, but this is true, man. DEI definitely kills art. That's what Elon Musk said. I pre-ordered the game last night drunk. Oh, I think that was the best decision you made while you were drunk. Goon. But I'm confident I will be fine with PS5 gang. Definitely. Just saw you were live. I didn't know you did live streams. What have I missed so far? Joshua, welcome to stream, Joshua. So far, you have not missed anything. The live stream just started just a couple minutes ago. So we're basically just taking a look at Black Myth Wukong. There's a lot of reviews that just came along, and we're just trying to go ahead, take a look at all the reviews. You know, I would really appreciate it if you guys could just go ahead, drop a like on the stream. It's just a chill stream, you know. Really, there isn't really much that we're doing tonight. We're just gonna chill. I just want to get to know who my followers are and all of you guys. Just want to speak to you guys, have a good time, just chill. That's pretty much it. So what are you guys up to? Have you guys pre-ordered Black Myth Wukong? I've been seeing plenty of reviews for this game. I just wanted to go ahead and take a look at a couple of these reviews. I've actually bookmarked some of these things on my Twitter. If you take a look at this, there are plenty of really good reviews for this game, but at the same time, there are some really funny ones. So I just want to go ahead and take a look at all of these reviews that we have so far. And one of the worst things that I came across is from Screen Rant. The guys I've literally been following for all these years, they kind of just disappointed me finally, you know, with a really worst ever review outlet so far that I've seen is, of course, going to be Screen Rant now. Because, as you can see, this is apparently the review that they made for Black Myth Wukong, where they said that the pros of the game is combat is fluid and fun, which IGN does not agree with that, you know, because IGN says that the combat is not fluid. It's very clunky and it has a lot of issues and whatnot. But I guess like most of the good review outlets out there, they actually say that the combat is pretty fluid. There isn't any issues whatsoever. But IGN, they definitely say no to this stuff. So you know what IGN is. So as you can see, the combat is fluid and fun, cinematography and can be breathtaking at times, and there's also great diversity in items and mechanics. Now, what's the cons as to why they had to give this game a 3-star rating? Is because the game's performance is unpolished, lacking in inclusive and diversity. Now, this is basically where everything just falls apart, when they said the game lacks in inclusive and diversity, which means that they're basically just trying to get the DEI stuff promoted into this game. It's one of the most ridiculous things out there. DEI stuff should definitely get removed from game, but for whatever reason, the Western media, the Western gaming outlets, the reviewers out there, they are the worst of kinds. You know, they're the ones that are just being the cancer of this entire gaming industry. They just want to ruin games for us gamers just because they want to push on this political agendas. If you guys do agree with this one, you gotta drop a like on the stream, okay? If you do agree on this one, just hit that 100% reaction down there. Day one. So I know plenty of you guys have already pre-ordered this game, and honestly, if you want to support any of the developers, I think it should definitely be Black Myth Wukong, because these guys, they're really trying so hard not to get trapped into all of this stuff, all of this DEI stuff, and I think that is definitely why we should kind of, you know, support these developers and try to stay away from most of the games that kind of just promote these stuffs, I guess. But still, you know, some games, they're just too good. Like Assassin's Creed Shadows, I would definitely want to try that game out. But still, I do understand that the game has been pushing in a lot of agendas, and that's really bad. It's killing gaming, honestly. So as you can see, some of the guys that have actually spoken about this is that Vara Dark from Twitter. She says that I'm not surprised to all the activists, journos are knocking the Black Myth Wukong review scores down over the accusation that IGN created, which was created like a couple months ago before this game was like released. You know, IGN kind of just created this accusation, which says that, you know, there's a lot of lack of inclusion, diversity, and representation, all that stuff. That's something that IGN usually does. So this is something that's kind of just pulling over all the way from Hogwarts Legacy. The game was heavily criticized, and then we had a game that was Stellar Blade, which people absolutely loved. And we also had this with Days Gone. I don't know why people don't mention that, but Days Gone, man, it's something that we need to take a note at, okay? Definitely we need to take a note at Days Gone. That game was destroyed by reviewers. It was definitely destroyed by all the reviewers out there. And that's some serious issues. Now what's funny is that if you take a look at all the stuff that they've written down in this review out here, is that you'll actually notice some pretty hilarious stuff. Let's just go ahead and take a look at Screen Rant's review over here, where they said that while my analysis and reviews of Black Myth Wukong remains focused on gameplay, well, the reviewer, she says that she was only focusing on gameplay, which is definitely not true. It's important to mention the controversy surrounding the game studio and the reports of misogyny and sexism from developers. Playing as a female gamer allowed me to notice issues surrounding inclusive representation. All right, so now she says that, you know, all of this stuff is just because, you know, she's a female gamer, and she really finds that, you know, the game is very offensive to her just because she doesn't get to play as a female character. And just look at this stuff. Like, you're basically playing as a monkey king. You play as a monkey, dude. Monkey. How much more diverse can this basically get? A lot of people have been posting some edited photos out there where they just made the monkey's hair like completely pink and blue and whatnot. Just slapped that LGBTQ flag all over, and that's diverse enough for you. If that's what the media wants, I think gaming is definitely going all the way down. If you do agree, let me know if you do agree. So, whatever she said so far, let's go ahead and further take a look at what she has to say. Now, she says that as far as Chapter 1 and 2, while characters are clearly fictitious, what is that? Fictitious and fantastical creatures, there were no female or feminine NPCs, enemies, or bosses represent. Now, the only exceptions, if we can call it female, is a boss named Mother of Stones in Chapter 2, which is nothing more than still glowing rock with no abilities, being guarded by other enemies. Now, this is definitely false, because there is actual female characters inside the game. There are some like really cool female characters actually, and I don't know why they're just like, you know, captivating on the stuff that IGN just posted out there with their reviews, where they said that, you know, after Chapter 2 the game is pretty much just buggy and all that stuff. And now you know, Screen Rant is doing the same stuff by just holding on to that stuff, and they're now saying that after Chapter 2 the game gets, you know, all exclusive. They don't include any sort of female characters and all that. That's some bullshit. That's some real bullshit. Games, although Black Myth Wukong does have truly enjoyable moments, the underlying feelings that women aren't welcome in this world felt present throughout the gameplay experience. Now that's some bullshit review, dude. And the stuff after the review, what happened was, you know, Screen Rant removed who the author of this review was. You know, they completely removed the name from the list, from their website. But then, you know, a lot of people actually did capture the screenshot, and it seems like Samar Abedian is the one who is a senior staff writer. Now, she's the one that made the reviews, apparently. And Screen Rant was, you know, smart enough. They kind of just removed her from the list so that people don't go ahead and harass her and send some death threats. That's some serious stuff. You know, I know the internet is crazy. People do some crazy stuff, but yeah, this is a real issue that could happen, by the way. Now, how many of you guys have legit pre-ordered this game? I want to know. How many of you have done it? I don't care about ratings, says Charles. Me neither. Honestly, you know, you should never care about the ratings. Honestly, if you're looking for like a full-on honest reviews, I would say that you guys should definitely turn around and look at some of the YouTubers that you truly trust. Because YouTubers that you trust are going to be the ones that kind of just honestly give you guys the reviews. But lately, man, I've been seeing a lot of YouTubers, they really don't want to get canceled. And that's probably one of the reasons why they don't go against any of the reviews. So they just you know, try to defend the game as far as possible. I've seen that with Assassin's Creed. The Assassin's Creed community is filled with creators that kind of just, you know, they don't speak anything bad about Ubisoft. They can't, because they don't do it because they don't want to get canceled. And as a creator, it kind of makes sense because they want to just make a living out of YouTube, and it's not a good thing to go against. You know, it's definitely not good to go against these companies, because once you do, it's definitely going to be affecting you in big time. So, yeah, that's like a real thing, by the way. I'm going to pre-order it today, says Pirate. Oh yeah, I was thinking about pre-ordering the physical version of this game, but unfortunately, I don't know why, there was no physical copy. And then I realized, well, you know what? The developers have already intimated us that there was not going to be any sort of pre-order. There's not going to be any physical copies for this game, and I just realized it. That's not going to happen. Unfortunately, I really wish there was like a physical copy of the game. I would have loved to just have it on my collections out there. Because, you know, recently, you know, there's been a lot of bullshit stuff going on with even Ubisoft, where they basically just, you know, removed games from the store, and you cannot really own these games anymore. Even if you have like the digital version of these games, you can't own it. They completely just removed the stuff from your library, and that's not cool, man. Because I know there are some really good games from the classic times that I would really love to go ahead and revisit these games, but it just doesn't happen to be there, you know. I paid $1 million to give this game a 3. So. I ordered the regular version. I heard you can actually collect everything in the game. Honestly, yeah, the game doesn't have any sort of pay-to-win elements, which is like really cool stuff, you know. I think a lot of games should kind of just, you know, follow on to the stuff, you know. They should give more stuff for free. And I think Delta Force, I don't know how many of you guys are aware of Delta Force. That game actually gives in a lot of stuff for free, you know. Everything is free. They even announced on their official Twitter page that they're not going to be forcing on any sort of stuff that's pay to win or whatever. Let me just go and look that up. Hold on. Delta Force. Let me just go ahead and take a look at what these guys have to say about all the stuff that they've been doing so far. They've been making some pretty huge claims that they're definitely not going to include any stuff that is related to pay to win. And that's something I really love. I've been playing this game the shitload of time. I've been putting in hours and hours into this game. I'm loving it. I think if you haven't tried Delta Force, you should definitely go in and try that game, man. It's really good. Really, really amazing. I don't know where they said it. They just mentioned it recently that they're not going to include any sort of like, you know, pay-to-win aspects and stuff. I even liked that tweet. I even liked it. Where is that at? Content drops. Now, by the way, if you guys don't have Delta Force codes, I can actually give away some codes on the stream right now. If you guys want some codes, let me know down below in the comments. I will read the comments. If you guys want some, I'll drop some codes. You can go ahead and activate your codes on your Steam profiles, and you'll basically get the game. You can play the game. If you already have the code, share it with your friends. I'll also drop some more codes on the stream. I'll keep dropping plenty of codes if you want some, you know, so you can go ahead and join the game. Do you reckon it will be good on PS5? I honestly heard a lot of reviews where they said that, you know, the game is actually pretty good on the PS5 console. It runs pretty good, but then there are some issues on the PC version. I think it's like more of a pre-release issues, and usually, you know, games when they're in their review stages, they don't have like the day one patch and stuff. I'm just speaking from my previous experiences on reviewing games on PC versions. Usually, you know, games are not well optimized until the game comes out on the official date. So after the game gets like the day one patch, most of the stuff gets fixed, but we can't really, you know, captivate on that stuff. Most of the stuff does get fixed, right? It does get fixed. As Alpha continues, hold on, dude. Where is the tweet that these guys just posted where they said that they're not going to be making any pay-to-win stuff? I think it's somewhere out here. All right, here it is. This is what they said. As our game director Shadow promised, Delta Force will never do pay-to-win. Never sell in-game currencies, which is a huge claim. No pay-to-win elements. Get the highest level safe for free. Free to play. Some big news will be announced soon. I think the big news is basically that the game is going free to play for everyone, because right now it's in its current alpha state where people who only own like the keys, who got invited, content creators and some people that already requested for access, they also got invited. Only they could play the game. So I think there are probably around like 150,000 players right now playing Delta Force. And if you guys want to be one of those guys who want to jump in, let me know in the comments. I will drop some keys for you guys if you're playing on the PC. What do you think about Black Ops 6 that's coming out? Pirate asks. Well, Black Ops 6, man, I'm really into that game. I've been a huge Call of Duty fan, and you know, Pirate, I've honestly lost a lot of interest in Call of Duty lately. Ever since Modern Warfare 2, and you know, they kind of just made the multiplayer version or the multiplayer experiences like pretty slow-paced, and that's not something I really liked. I did not enjoy the slow-paced Call of Duties. I loved it when it was really fast-paced, and you had like this 360 no-scope stuff. You know, you could do plenty of stuff, man. Like there was actual nuke inside the game. They even removed that stuff, and I hope, you know, as far as what I've seen from Call of Duty Black Ops 6, that game looked pretty good. Not gonna lie, that really did look pretty good. Like you can move all direction while you're sprinting. It's called as Omni movement. You know, that's what the developers say. It's an Omni movement stuff, and honestly, that looks pretty cool. I'm gonna be playing it. I'm gonna give it a shot, but I'm not gonna pre-order the game yet. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna wait and play the open beta. Once I like it, that's when they're gonna get my money. I'm not gonna just go in there, drop my money, and, you know, pre-order the stuff or whatever. I'm not gonna do it. Because honestly, every year, man, Call of Duty just disappoints me all the time. There's been a lot of leaks out there for Call of Duty, and I really want to stay away from it, you know, at this point, until I get to go ahead and try the beta out. But all the leaks so far, it does look pretty good. But I don't know how the final version is when I'm getting to play the game. So that's one of the reasons. What do you guys think? Are you guys like interested in Black Ops 6? Are you guys really interested in that game? I'm waiting for Crimson Desert. Yeah, Crimson Desert is a pretty darn good game. And I also heard, you know, Ubisoft actually invited me to fly all over to Gamescom. They even said that they're going to give me a couple of tickets and give me some entry where I could go ahead and get my hands on their games. And most probably there were supposed to be Assassin's Creed Shadows in there, where I guess I kind of just missed my chance. because I don't have the visa ready, man. I don't have the visa ready, so I can't really fly anytime I want. You know, I need to just apply for a visa, and hopefully this time I get like a longer time visa, so I can just fly over anytime they invite. But yeah, this time I really missed out. Kind of just feels bad, but it is what it is. But yeah, I've kind of just asked some of the PR guys at Ubisoft to, you know, send me out a couple of promotional content like B-rolls, maybe some exclusive gameplays, which I can share with you guys. That's going to be showcased in Gamescom. So hopefully they send me some exclusive stuff so I can share those things with you guys, you know. So far, man, it's pretty good. Shadows actually looks pretty good. Shadows really does look pretty good in terms of gameplay. But I know, man, the parkour system that we recently just received, it kind of just, you know, feels a bit different. Hold on, let me just go ahead and play this stuff. Let's just go ahead and take a look at what Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay looks like, you know. The parkour system and everything, it kind of does feel good, but at the same time, I really did not buy into it. Because the animations, it's pretty good, you know. They kind of just added in like a couple of animations in there where you kind of have this backflip and front flip, and that's pretty much it. That's the only thing, the only difference that I'm seeing. And most of the stuff is actually just copied from Assassin's Creed Mirage and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Lies. Ubisoft never invited you. Oh, is that so, Ahmed? Ubisoft never invited me. All right, buddy. Have it your way. So, yeah, they said that, you know, they could basically send over some of these exclusive content. Hopefully I get some. But yeah, as far as what I've heard, you know, Gamescom is actually going to be having a couple of these demos that they're going to showcase. And all the information that I've got from Ubisoft is that we'll get like a full-on hands-on gameplay experience for Star Wars Outlaws, where we will get to try like the mid-section of the game, where most of the stuffs are unlocked, and you will basically get to experience what the wholesome of the game is going to feel like. But of course, the final game is going to get released in like a week after Gamescom, so it's not a big deal. But Assassin's Creed Shadows, a full-on hands-on experience demo is going to be showed. We'll get like a proper gameplay demo in Gamescom, which is in 2 days from now. Which is great stuff, you know? And the one thing I'm really looking forward to seeing is how good is Yasuke's parkour system, you know, because Ubisoft said that there's not going to be like any parkour system for Yasuke. And I'm just kind of curious to see how the parkour system is going to work out and all that stuff. Do you have any news about the Black Flag remake? Yeah, as of now, I don't know, man. Gamescom could be the place where we could eventually find out more information about upcoming Assassin's Creed games, because Ubisoft is definitely developing Black Flag's remake, but we don't know any further information about this as of now. No further information, unfortunately. Short Snow. Well, welcome, man. When will you review Short Snow, as you promised on an email? Well, I'm definitely gonna do that in my upcoming videos, but then, you know, lately I've been slacking off in terms of making content recently, managing some real life stuff, and then, you know, making content. It's been a pain in the ass. So I decided, you know, I just want to go ahead, do a live stream, hang out with you guys, chill out and do stuff, and then later on, once I decide to full on go ahead and make content and stuff, because right now it's pretty dry in terms of, you know, gaming content. There isn't much to speak about. There isn't much content going on, so I'm just holding back a little bit, you know. And after the Gamescom, that's when we're gonna get like a bunch of stuff that just gets revealed, and that's when I will also be reviewing your game as well. I'm so ready for Black Ops 6. Always come back to Black Ops. Definitely. Always. And always Black Ops good. You'll get more chances like that, says Kevin. I know, definitely. You know, most of the times Ubisoft, I think this is like the second year that Ubisoft has invited me. Like, I've been working with Ubisoft for probably, I think, 4 years. The first time I even got connected with Ubisoft was all the way back when I was making Assassin's Creed Valhalla content. Like, before the game even released, that's when I was making Assassin's Creed Valhalla content. And then, you know, Ubisoft contacted me and they were like, you know what, we like your content and we would like to support you in the future. And that's great. They did some really amazing job. They sent me like a birthday gift. Like, the first time they contacted me, it was exactly on my birthday. So they asked me, when is your birthday? And I told them like it was on July 22nd. Then they were like, you know what? It's today. It's your birthday. We want to make it special. So they just sent me a couple of game codes. And it was the game code of Far Cry. I think it was Far Cry 5. I think that was the code that they sent me as a birthday gift, which is pretty cool. Like, Ubisoft doing that stuff, it was really amazing. It felt special, honestly. I found your content through Valhalla. I put like 500 hours in. You know, I'm super excited to go ahead and do a lot of stuff in Assassin's Creed Shadows, especially if you guys have been watching my content in Valhalla. You would probably know that I've been making a lot of modded gameplays, you know. I love modding games, man. I've been doing so many Ragnar Lothbrok gameplay mods. If you're someone that really would love to watch like Let's Play content, I've done so many on my channel. If you're new to this channel, you should go ahead and check out that playlist where we get to play as Ragnar Lothbrok. I did Lagertha Ragnar, I did Beyond Ironside, you know, all the famous characters, even Ivar the Boneless, so many characters. I've just modded them, changed the game's look, changed the character's look, and it was a completely different experience, you know, back in those times. It was fun. I really hope that they have like a lot of modding support for Assassin's Creed Shadows as well, because I'm definitely going to try out all the characters from Shogun. I'm going to bring all those characters into the game and do a full-on Let's Play. If that's something you guys would love, let me know, you know.
So now we know who he worked for.
Bro, I thought you worked for them. No, I definitely not. I don't work for Ubisoft, no. Because, you know, I've been shitting on Ubisoft for so long. I speak so many stuff that they don't like, you know. There were even times when I just spoke some stuff a little bit too much, and Ubisoft did not like it. You know, there were some times, and they just called me over and they were like, dude, you know what? You're just saying stuff that you're not supposed to say. And it was like the initial days when I started, you know, working with companies. I had no experience whatsoever working with any of these companies, and
Don't worry.
that's basically how it was. I never had any experience of working with any of these companies. So Ubisoft was like a big thing. And then there were all of these competitions on YouTube. I never knew, you know, like YouTube was a competitive space. I never knew. I just came in having fun, just, you know, because I love Assassin's Creed. You know, I've been playing it from childhood. So I thought, you know what, let me just go ahead, have fun, create content, and do all that stuff. And then I realized, well, you know what, there are other creators out there that make Assassin's Creed videos. And if you end up getting more views on YouTube, right, if you end up getting more views than them, they kind of just get pissed off. And I've been having a lot of... there are some big creators. I don't want to name the dude. I think most of you guys already know. He used to like send me texts saying that, you know what? Don't upload this. Don't do that. And at some point I felt like, you know what, dude? It's just too much. It's just too much. I want to do whatever I want. I don't want to listen to whatever bullshit you have to say. In the beginning, I was new to this whole system, so I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to listen to the big guys. He's a big dude. He knows what he's doing. So let me just say yes to whatever he says. He says your thumbnail is kind of similar to mine, but then he copies other thumbnails and all that stuff, you know. So I kind of like took down so many content, so many stuff. I kind of just refused from making some content that I really wanted to make, all because of this whole monopoly that goes on into the YouTube space. And he even, you know, these big YouTubers, they even threatened to get me canceled from Ubisoft. And it's all part of the game, man. It's dirty game. Honestly, it's dirty game. Big creators, the guys that you look up to, it's definitely not what it seems like on the YouTube space. It's you know, it's a toxic space. Sometimes I just feel like, you know, it's better to stay away from all of these dudes and just do your own stuff, because they definitely don't like it. I will get shadows too. I'll start with Yasuke. Yeah, Yasuke is a great character, honestly. He's a great character. But then I don't know. There's a lot of you know, controversies behind this man. But yeah, as a game, as you know, if you don't care about all the stuff, I think it's a pretty good game eventually. Kevin, nah man, he was keeping you down for his own benefits. Exactly. I knew that, you know. I knew that, you know, honestly, I knew that these creators don't want me to rise. They don't want me to get views. They don't want me to get recognition. They always try to, you know, put me down. And they even contacted my friend. I don't know how many of you guys know. Cheese Official. He was like a good friend of mine. But then he, you know, he kind of just had, you know, this issues. He kind of had some issues. So I don't want to go through all of that stuff. So yeah, he was contacted by these big Assassin's Creed creators, who I'm not gonna name, and obviously you guys know. So yeah, this dude just contacts and he was like, don't you know, be friends with Blakwoodz. Hey, I don't know, man. Like he was like a weird ass fucking dude, man. Don't be friends with Blakwoodz. We gotta get him canceled. I'm speaking to the PR guys. I'm gonna get this dude canceled. You know. All because I was a competition to this dude, and it was a fucking toxic space, honestly. Very, very toxic space. They'll make Max Payne. So yeah, after that I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do. So if you guys don't like it, fuck it. Get out of here, you know? I'm not going to listen to any of you content creators out there. I'm going to do what I want. I'm just going to stick with it. And if I get canceled. It doesn't matter, okay? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to put out my honest reviews, my honest thoughts, and that's pretty much it. If I'm getting views better than those dudes, it's their problem. It doesn't really matter, but it's for some reason, you know, it's all about the monopoly on YouTube, and that's basically how they treat it. If you are a creator, and if you're planning to grow on YouTube, and if you're planning to make content that's related to Ubisoft or that's related to Assassin's Creed, then you would probably know that you're going to get a lot of hate from this one person who is really huge in the industry, and it's not good, and he's going to try to get you canceled and all this stuff. It really happened with me a lot of times. It's one of the worst things ever. I know, Kevin. They've been seeing me as a threat. Like that's weird stuff, you know. I really don't really want to go into that stuff, man. But yeah, whatever he tried, you know. Whatever he tried to get me canceled or whatever, he even got my friend canceled, who was Cheese Official, got my friend canceled from Ubisoft because he was my friend. So he kind of just got him canceled. I don't know how he did that or whatsoever. That's what Cheese told me, and there was a lot of, you know, bullshit stuff going on. And then he also tried to get me canceled, but then unfortunately that did not happen because I belong to a completely different region, which was not the same region that he operates in. Right? Not the same PR contact that he has. My PR contact is different, and he's an amazing dude, the person that I have, and he's been very supportive, helped my ass a lot of stuff, a lot of time. So yeah, I'm really grateful for the dude from Ubisoft. I'm still getting this game. So yeah, like I was saying, speaking about, we just got a little bit off track out here. So speaking about all the stuff that we know about Black Myth Wukong. Now, there's also some allegations that's been going on lately, and this is one of the biggest allegations that we received so far, which is that, Black Myth Wukong keys were sent to journalists with a request not to mention certain topics such as feminism or opinions about China. And this is something that, this dude posted on Reddit saying that this is what they sent and whatsoever. And then a lot of creators came out. Hold on, did this just post get deleted? That's unfortunate. All right, here it is. So Michael here, the Legacy Killer HD, I don't know how many of you guys know him. He is a YouTuber, pretty well known. So Legacy Killer says that, there's an alleged Black Myth Wukong documents going around that appears to be fake. No influencers or reporters have seen it. And apparently whatever this stuff is, they're just trying to make this game look bad. Just look bad. They're just trying to make the developers look bad. It mentions for creators to not mention politics, feminist propaganda, and COVID-19 grifters without verifying anything or already parading the dogs. That's some messed up stuff, man. Honestly, they're just trying to get this game canceled, and it's all about the Sweet Baby. I don't know whatever they are called. It's called Sweet Baby Inc. I think they're the ones that are just pushing in all of this DEI stuff. And they apparently just ruined the whole situation for Black Myth Wukong at this point. So that's bad stuff. And we got plenty of stuff that's coming out from plenty of creators. One of them is, oh no, Screen Rant removed the author's name, unfortunately for them. I still had the article pulled up in the tab, and everyone is going to know their name, and it is Samar Abedian. She's the one that did it. She's the one that wrote it. And Lame Baby Inc. Definitely, they're just ruining gaming, man. Don't you guys think that Sweet Baby is ruining the gaming industry? Do you think they will make Max Payne 4 or just remake? Yeah, honestly, Take-Two Interactives, all the stuff that we've heard so far, it seems like they are making Max Payne 1, 2, and 3 complete remake. Like Max Payne 1 and 2 is getting remake. I don't know about the 3. I think 1 and 2 is actually getting remake. It's in development, but right now they're just focusing all in with other games. Most probably like a small amount of developers are working on it, but we're not really sure how far deep the development of this game currently is. We're not sure about that stuff. Sugar Bear Gaming, what was your question? I'm sorry if I missed your question though. I was too caught up into speaking stuff. Bro, answer my question, bro. Oh, hold on, let me just go all the way up. Will Black Myth Wukong get a physical disc? No, Black Myth Wukong is not going to be getting a physical disc, unfortunately. It is what it is. It seems like they're not developing any physical disc. That's really what I was looking forward to as well. I tried to go ahead and pre-order this game since it's coming out in like 2 days. So I thought, you know what? Let me just go ahead and pre-order it. But it seems like we're really not getting any sort of physical disc as of now. Maybe in the future, maybe that could happen. But right now, really isn't the case. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed this. IGN reviews and most of the other reviews actually have like really poor performance out there from all the people out there. The fans really don't like what they reviewed so far, you know. Now, if you can take a look at this tweet here from Dreamwalker, it says that IGN and GameSpot reviews of Black Myth Wukong are overwhelmed by dislikes on YouTube. With 40% dislike ratio, both give it 8 out of 10. And had slandered Game Science Studios earlier without proof. Now, previously, IGN and Screen Rant, I don't know if Screen Rant did it, but yeah, IGN, they actually slandered the entire Game Science Studio. They said that they have been against feminists, and they've done a lot of bullshit stuff. Even if they didn't have any proof, they kind of just put it out there, spread some false stuff and all that, and it just seems like it comes out in terms of how they've reviewed the game. I honestly haven't taken a look at like the entire review, which we will in a bit. Now, IGN China actually scored it 10 out of 10. The video has only 10% dislike. Now, if you take a look at this is like the original IGN's review here, where they kind of just spoke about how after chapter 2 the game is pretty much just broken. But for most of the guys who actually completed the game, they say that the game is not broken. It's pretty good. It's smooth. It's wonderful. We had a great time. But IGN, however, they had to go ahead and drop the reviews and say it was bad. The game is broken after chapter 2. We are not supposed to show it or whatever. That's the article that I've read. But yeah. So it seems like they've got like 8.5k likes and 5.4k dislikes in just 15 hours. That's insane. And if you go down to GameSpot, they've got like 50% of dislike. It seems like they just copy paste the stuff, They just copy paste whatever IGN says, the same thing. GameSpot says the same thing. Game Rant, not Game Rant, I think Screen Rant. Yeah, Screen Rant says. It's pretty much the same. Now, if you go down to IGN China, you like to actually notice that they only have like 10% dislike ratio. Chinese players, the Asian gaming industry, they really appreciate having a game that is not DEI focused. They want to have a game that's really following the culture, that kind of just stays original to what the real lore is. They respect it. But that's something that, the current Western media, they just absolutely hate that stuff, man. They just love to ruin stuff that's original and bring in some rainbow flags in. Thoughts on your game of the year so far? My game of the year this year, I honestly think it's game of the year this year. It's a good question. There are plenty of good games that came out. I don't know. I don't think that Assassin's Creed Shadows is probably going to be a contender, since there's like a lot of controversy going on, and game of the year is usually decided based on how many people vote for which game, and I for a fact know that the game has a lot of controversy, and that's probably why Shadows might not get it. But who knows, maybe it turns out to be a really good game. But keeping that aside, I think this game could actually win game of the year. This kind of, I even heard like many reviews out there where people said that this game actually competes in terms of being game of the year title, and could be true. Respect the lore. PlayStation says that Wukong game comes out on 19th. Well, it depends on the region that you live in. What's the region you live in, Kenny? Are you from Australia? Because I know most of the guys who live in Australia, they kind of like get the games released like a day early, sometimes even more than 24 hours early. I don't know. Could be based on your region, I guess. 7 out of 10 games are still good. Not every game has to be 10 out of 10. Now, this is why I still enjoy Assassin's Creed games and will get Shadows and Star Wars Outlaws, even if it's a 7 out of 10. Honestly, yeah. Even if games get like 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, it doesn't really matter. Like, the games are pretty good. The reason why they get like 7 or 8 is because, they have like personal agendas, or maybe they did not, like the developers did not pay the price in order to get the higher score. Because I know that, the industry is pretty much rigged. None of the reviews that you see out there is honest and true. There are some really good guys that kind of just give you like honest opinions, but that's really minor case if you look at it. What is this? Black Myth Wukong masterfully takes what the good Souls-like experience does. Hold on, let's see what we got in here. I think I've seen like a couple of reviews here. And also take a look at this, man. This is something I really came across. Like, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice, Lesbian Mrs. Freeze Season 2 update bombs with players. Game has lost 95% of its player base since February, ever since they added this stuff in, where we had like this pride stuff being promoted, pushed onto players' faces. 95% of players who are playing this game completely quit. And this basically shows as to how much people are now finally taking their stand against the DEI stuff, you know? Finally, it's happening. That's a good thing. It's real good stuff. I love to see stuff like this happen, and hopefully we go back to what gaming was before, where we simply just sit there, play game, have fun. That is pretty much what gaming used to be like, but right now it is absolutely destroyed. Gaming is destroyed right now. What else have we got here? I think I've had plenty of stuff. What does Jordan have to say? Now, PSA before people go mental about this. The review documents, at least in the UK, includes absolutely nothing like this. It's pretty standard, if a bit strict. List of in-game content we can't mention. No journalist would agree to an embargo with an anti-feminism clause. Exactly, man. I don't know why this whole claim was made. It's all complete false claim. I don't know who is doing it. They probably have like more karma, due to which their post just goes super viral on Reddit. My game comes out in like 1 day, 7 hours. Yeah, exactly. This is the same thing it says for me. 1 day, 7 hours in North America. Yeah, it's the same for other regions as well. I don't know. Maybe it's Australia. Maybe it's just Australia, no? We don't want the gay flag. The thing is that we will always have bugs, but the goal is to always minimize them. Exactly. Games are always going to have bugs. It's not real life. Come on, dudes. Obviously, games are going to have bugs. Some minor ones that can be neglected, but obviously not something that's going to be game-breaking, of course. If that's the case, you know, things wouldn't be good. Some of the most funny shit in gaming is bugs, to be honest. Honestly, yeah. I've really had my fair share of having fun in gaming, in terms of how bugs have been really funny, you know? it really gets you, honestly. It's one of the best things in gaming. You know, honestly, if you guys are watching the stream, I would really appreciate it if you guys could just go ahead, drop your like on the stream. If we could just get to 100 likes, that would really mean a lot to me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Yeah, it's boring. The fifth Banta, it's boring. Actually, Suicide Squad is a boring game, and upon that, they've also been adding some dumb stuff in it, and you know, it just killed itself. It's not DEI, it's themselves, yeah. Because, you know, Cyberpunk 2077 got like 9 out of 10 from IGN. And that game is fully broken. And if you take a look at Black Myth Wukong, they give it like 8 out of 10. Come on, man. Now, let's just go ahead and take a look at what, you know, IGN has to say about their reviews.
Black Myth Wukong, and just a quick note about this review. As part of the embargo agreement set for this game, I am unable to show you footage beyond Chapter 2. Which presents a bit of a problem because a lot of the technical issues that I have with this game that I specifically call out in this review occurred after Chapter 2, so I'm unable to actually show them. So we're going to do 2 different video reviews this time. This first one will abide by their restrictions and only show footage from the first 2 chapters, but we will also be posting a more complete review with the relevant footage added in on launch day. And with that, on with the review for Black Myth Wukong.
Alright, so it seems like there are some bugs. I actually did, I'm being honest here, I actually did hear from a lot of creators who actually got to play this game that there are some bugs in this game. Some bugs where you could kind of have like this invisible wall which is gonna limit your movement system, where you can't really pass through the next level because the invisible wall just came in and you have to like exit the game and relog in once again. And when you do that, you're gonna have to fight the previous boss that you already fought and already won, so you'll have to redo it all over again. So it's kind of a bit game breaking, and I think that's probably what he's referring to here after Chapter 2. And But that doesn't really justify as to why other outlets gave this game like a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 9.5, 9.9, and all that scoring. I don't know, man, honestly. This whole game is a rigged game. Alright, this looks pretty good.
I've never been
this
so
actually looks pretty
blown
cool.
away, yet simultaneously so unbelievably frustrated by a game as I have been with Black Myth Wukong. This is undoubtedly one of the most ambitious and impressive action games I've played. It's stunningly gorgeous, its combat is fantastic, it's incredibly challenging, but always satisfying to overcome, and the setting is refreshingly unique and steeped in rich Chinese culture. Despite all of that,
Actually, the music and the aesthetics of the open world, it literally does look pretty good. Like, from the day one, don't get me wrong, from the day one, this game actually did catch my attention, and I kind of just felt like it was going to be a good game, but it just felt like it was a game that just seems to be like too good to be true for some reason, you know? Sometimes, you know, you kind of just feel like, you know, some games are just, you know, too good to be true because they just look so good and play so good from the animations and everything that Black Myth Wukong had. It kind of just felt like, you know, it even exceeded what God of War's animations were. Sometimes if you hit an enemy, your enemy actually moves according to the kind of damage you produce on that subject. So that's some really next-gen technology, and when they revealed it for the first time, I was like, I was really blown away. And now, seeing that it's literally in the game and it works the same way, they haven't really completely broken the game or changed any of those things. It kind of just makes everything, you know, good about these developers, and I think they could have done this stuff even much better if they focused on taking a little bit more time in order to, you know, fix some of those bugs. And I don't know, maybe the day one patch could fix it. You know, day one patch could completely fix everything, every issue that we have with the game, honestly. So let's just go and take a look.
It often feels like it's barely holding it all together. I suffered numerous crashes, despite having a top-of-the-line setup with the GeForce RTX 4090.
That's what I'm saying.
Multiple times I fell through the ground and died in the final phase of a boss fight. Or the way characters would randomly switch from English to Chinese, or the way the dialogue audio would just drop out altogether and leave me completely in the dark during an important cutscene.
Oh, it's really funny because the game kind of just changes language from English to Chinese out of nowhere. I've never seen that kind of a bug in any game, but that's funny, honestly. If that happens, that would be hilarious, but still, it kind of just takes away from the immersion. But yeah, it seems like he was playing the game on the PC version. I always try my best to never review games on PC version because it's usually always bugged. It's not either optimized, it's always bugged, and you definitely need like a day one patch before you could even go ahead and play the game peacefully because it's always going to crash, have a lot of issues. But the console version, that's a completely different ball game. Console games are more optimized and it has a better better feedback that you usually get. I know I've been seeing a couple of tweets out there on Twitter which says that, you know, the game, it kind of runs better on the PS5 compared to the PC version. Even if you have like a really high-end PC, it's still not going to work as you expect, and that's not a good stuff, you know. If you have like a really high-end PC, it's a bad stuff if this game is not working as intended. And it just feels like, you know, console is even better at this point. It's from my own personal opinions as well. I've been reviewing games for a couple of years now, and every time I took out the review codes for PC versions, it always ended up bad. So most probably they'll fix it in the day one patch. So we'll find out if that's the case. Because once I get my hands on this game, I'll try out this on the PC version and also on the console version, and I'll let you guys know if all of the stuff is fixed.
It's a rickety roller coaster for sure, and there were definitely spots during the ride where I was not having a great time. But taken as a whole, this is one adventure where the bumps are worth it.
One adventure where the bumps are worth it, he says. All right. that kind of just, you know, seems like a good stuff to me. Bumps are worth it. Look at the boss fights, man.
No, thanks to very loose adaptations like Dragon Ball and Enslaved Odyssey to the West. That surface-level familiarity didn't help much though, as the interpretation that the developers at Game Science have crafted here is laden with references to characters and events from the novel, without doing a great job of bringing you up to speed on who Sun Wukong is, or what he encountered on his titular journey. I had to look online to understand who Zhu Bajie was, what his history with Wukong is, and what the significance of certain encounters were, because otherwise I'd have been completely lost at times. You play as the Destined One, a literal monkey who wakes up one morning and decides to set out on a roughly 40-hour journey to look...
a literal monkey who wakes up and sets out on a journey. That's funny. That's a funny way to say it. I don't think he's a literal monkey who wakes up and sets on a journey. There's like a whole big lore of Monkey King. I don't know how many of you guys have known like the Monkey King lore. But yo, this is funny, honestly. Most of the people, they don't really understand like the lore of this game for some reason. They just expect like the monkey to be diverse. It's just a little monkey that sets out.
Locate the 6 relics of Wukong. While the moment-to-moment storytelling is fairly unremarkable, largely due to a mute protagonist and side characters that aren't given enough screen time to develop, each of the 6 self-contained chapters culminates with a stunningly gorgeous animated vignette that tells a short story about that chapter's main antagonist. Each one is done in a completely different art style, with one drawn to look like a storybook, another using stop-motion animation, and another done in the style of an anime. Every single one of them is beautiful and poignant, and
Oh, alright, so it seems like there are different types of cutscenes and cinematics in this game, where one looks like an anime, and then the other one looks like a storybook, where you're just traveling through the storybook and getting to know this character, or the main boss of the game, because there are plenty of main bosses as far as what I've seen. And it's great that they have so many different kinds of animations and different kinds of ways of telling lores from one region of the map to another one, and from one boss to another one. Kind of has that variation, doesn't look really copy-pasted, or it doesn't feel like, you know, you're playing the same thing for like 40 hours. It's a 40 hours long game. It's a really, really big game, honestly, if you ask me. That's a big ass game out there. Yes, why is he reviewing? Honestly, I don't know. And that's what IGN does. Honestly, yeah. If the game is broken on the PC version, the reason why he's reviewing is because today is the embargo day as to when they were supposed to get like all the reviews out. But yeah, usually when, you know, when you're kind of like reviewing games, these developers, they just kind of send you a note saying that we would appreciate it if you could just wait until the day one patch. But still, this is like the embargo day. But the day one patch is definitely going to fix all these issues and all that stuff. So if you could just avoid speaking about those things, that would be great. But if you want to still mention it, it's still, you know, it's your own full free will to do it. But yeah, day one patch usually fixes a lot of stuff. Now, if you're playing the game before day one patch, there's definitely going to be a lot of issues, and I've noticed them in most of the games that I've reviewed so far, and I think it's pretty much the same stuff with Black Myth Wukong, but then it's kind of just more exaggerated in this review out here, most probably, as far as what I think, because other outlets, they basically give this game like a 10 out of 10, 9.5, 9.9, and 9.8 and all that stuff. So I don't think the game is pretty broken as far as what they're claiming it, because most of the people say that it's very fluid and it's very good, it plays well and all that stuff. So I honestly don't know why or whatsoever this whole thing is being spoken about so much. Now, the embargo restrictions don't allow us to show any footage of these vignettes, he says in this review out here, if you read it out loud.
I couldn't help but wish that the main story managed to move me in similar ways.
Apes of Wrath.
My initial read on Wukong was that it was a Souls-like, given the checkpoint system, the stamina bar that governs your actions in combat, and the dodge-heavy fighting style. But as it turns out, Wukong has more in common with traditional action games, like what you might expect from Bayonetta developer Platinum Games, than it does with anything that From Software has made.
That's actually pretty good. That's honestly very good. I'm not a huge fan of games like Souls games, you know. I honestly did not want Black Myth Wukong to end up like Souls games. I wanted it to be more linear, like God of War, where you could actually experience the storytelling experience, you know, and the narrative stuff, rather than just having like a really hard gameplay where you're just grinding for hours and hours in order to defeat this boss, like Elden Ring, you know. Elden Ring is a good game, but then it has its own genre. It's a Souls-like game, right? But I really wanted this Monkey King game to be more like God of War and just stick to whatever, you know, the main narrative or the storybook basically stands for, rather than just, you know, completely moving away from like the storybook and focusing more towards the combat and experience and leveling up your character, or, you know, how the gameplay is going to work, how tough it's going to be, the challenges and all this stuff. I think it's pretty good that they've kind of just gotten this balance, and most people kind of just expected this game to be like Souls-like, RPG Souls-like stuff. I don't know, did you guys expect that? Like it was going to be like an RPG Souls-like stuff? Let me know in the comments, okay? They said combat and attacks are slower and heavy acts. Now, every time you say the name of the game, I just think Wukong and nothing to fuck with. So, it seems like it's a good stuff, in my opinion. I don't know why this dude finds it, you know, not good. Maybe it's just his own personal opinion, but yeah. It seems like it's a pretty good stuff. Good stuff. I'm really loving it.
Most of the usual Souls-like conventions are missing. There's no penalty for death outside of respawning at the nearest checkpoint, you don't use a shared currency to level up your stats and purchase items or upgrades, and while there is gear and stats to...
I honestly don't know why he says most of the Souls-like elements are missing from the game. Like, the developers never said that it was going to be a Souls-like game. They said it's a Black Myth Wukong game, which is a Monkey King story-driven narrative experience. They never said it was like a Souls-like game for you to just go in and expect, like, well, it's not like Souls-like, and it doesn't have like the checkpoint refresh stuff where you can like boost your characters, all of these, you know, metas of your characters and stuff. I don't know why they expected this, and they kind of just reviewing the whole game based on why it's not like Souls, you know. I just think like that's weird.
Consider you largely just go and swap out the old equipment with the new, as opposed to making choices as to what kind of weapon or piece of armor you want to hold on to and upgrade.
That's pretty good.
And even though I am a big fan of Souls-likes, ditching those mechanics feels like the right move for the game that Wukong is trying to be.
Exactly. Now finally he speaks the truth. Honestly, you know, the right move is to ditch those stuff and go to what God of War games basically feels like. And I'm a huge fan of God of War, and I think they've done an incredible job with whatever this game has represented so far. Now,
it's far more forgiving, focused on keeping you in the action rather than poring over menus or retracing your steps to regain your lost currency after dying.
Amazing.
And Wukong is a better, more distinctive game for it. To
Amazing.
be clear, though, when I say it's more forgiving, I don't mean that it's any less difficult than a From-style game. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that between this and Elden Ring...
Yo, look at that boss, man. He looks badass.
The Air Tree, I had more difficulty getting through Wukong's toughest challenges.
Wait, what? The game is more challenging, but then it's not really Souls-like, but it kind of still has challenging bosses, which is great stuff in my opinion. Look at this boss, though. Wow. He's badass.
But at the same time, those challenges never felt unfair, and overcoming some of the tougher boss fights was always a satisfying combination of learning their attack patterns, figuring out where I could maximize my punishment windows, and tweaking my loadout in ways that made the best use of my chosen powers.
That's good. That's good. This is basically what God of War games feels like. I'm saying, man, this game is all that I was expecting. Did you guys expect like a Souls game? I don't know. It seems like some people did, and they're just disappointed. And one of them is IGN, but they also say that it's good that they did not go for the Souls-like experience, but he also complains about it's not Souls-like. So I don't know what he's really getting into here with this review. Yeah, I get it. So everyone, yeah, Kevin, like Kevin says, everyone sees like a big, huge boss, and they think like, you know, it's basically Souls-like. It needs to be that. Yeah, I kind of get it. But the developers never really agreed to that, right? They never really said that it is Souls-like and all that stuff. So yeah.
Hinges on a delicate balance of Twitch reflex style gameplay mixed with careful resource management that largely revolves around a focus meter, which builds up when you land hits. And
oh, so like the focus meter is going to basically increase. It's basically like Ghost of Tsushima. Like you have like a focus meter.
perfectly dodge enemy attacks.
You could heal and stuff like that, I guess.
You gain a focus point whenever that meter fills up, which you can then spend in the middle of a light attack combo for a varied combo.
Okay.
Or you can just use a heavy attack on its own for a powerful strike that can be charged even further if 2, 3, or even 4 focus points are consumed all at once.
Ooh.
You also
So you can like consume all the 4 focus points and land like a heavy blow, which is going to take down your enemy's HP like real quick. Real quick. Now, just finished Elden Ring DLC. Had enough punishment. Honestly, yeah, Elden Ring is a punishing game, man. You know, the DLC finished it. Wow, I know that a lot of people actually quit on that
have
DLC.
access to a small handful of spells, governed by a mana meter, that are versatile enough to be useful in a wide array of situations. The Immobilize spell, for instance, freezes enemies for a short time, allowing you to get in some quick hits and potentially stagger them to allow for even more free damage. Cloud Step turns you invisible and creates a decoy for your enemies to focus on while you break away, heal up, and then hit your foe with a surprise attack that can crit. Rock Solid briefly turns you into a statue that will cause an enemy's attack to bounce right off of you, giving you an opportunity for a counterattack. Ring of Fire creates a barrier around you that will initially repel enemies and grant you some health restoration, along with enhancing any stat-altering drinks that you may use while standing inside of it. And finally, there's my personal favorite, a plug of many.
This is my favorite, you know? If you guys know the lore of Monkey King, he could basically just pluck his hair out, and as many hairs as he has, he could just blow it, and all of those hairs are just going to transform into his shadow clones. Just like Naruto, he could just create shadow clones with his hairs plucked out and blown away. It just gives the hairs lives. That's one of the coolest things about Monkey King.
Lets you make multiple clones of yourself to all gang up on an enemy at once.
I really can't wait to go ahead and try this out. Look at that. Woo. Oh my god, the dude is having a real bad time. I don't know. Is that like an ability that kind of just recharges? How's that? Could you like swap that with any other abilities? Or is it like something that Monkey King has forever till the end of the game?
You've also got transformations, which allow you to morph into powerful creatures that you've already bested in battle.
You can... Wow. You can change into your previous foes? Like you can shapeshift? That's awesome.
Cool about these is that they don't cost any mana, they're tied to a very lengthy cooldown instead, and they turn you into a totally different character, complete with an all-new moveset, special moves that use...
I wonder if you can turn into this huge boss, though. Once you defeat it, like you can turn into this huge boss. That would be cool.
Focus meter and more. For example, one of the first bosses that you fight is a wolf with a fiery dual blade that has a lightning-fast dash attack. When you defeat him, you'll gain his transformation and be able to do that very same dash attack.
But your character is not big enough. Your character is still small. You see, the first boss that you fought off, he was actually huge. Take a look at this. Like, as he says, the first boss that you fight, he's huge compared to you in size. But then, once you transform into that dude, you're not really huge.
To your enemies, and once you build up its focus meter, you'll even be able to do a hugely powerful leaping strike that can ignite foes and deal damage over time to them. And then finally, there are spirit skills, which are earned by defeating certain more powerful versions of enemies and absorbing their essence into your gourd. These are effectively transformations that only last for one attack and are also tied to a fairly lengthy cooldown, but it's great to be able...
The impact that you have on all these enemies, you know, like the way they react, the animations, once you hit them right in their gut and they just kind of hold their gut and go backwards, those animations, those particle effects and everything, that's what makes this game so freaking unique from all the RPG games out there.
For example,
insane.
Use the Wandering Wight's powerful headbutt attack.
Oh, wow. You could change into what the hell was that?
Dagger after immobilizing an enemy. These spirit skills can also be leveled up, which makes it so that even the early game spirits never lose their strength.
Oh, you can actually turn into all these big stuff as well. That's good. That's exactly what I wanted to know. Like you could turn into this huge monsters.
As the campaign rolls on. It's
but for a very small amount of time.
Mixed with some truly incredible boss fights. And Wukong introduces all of these elements at a thoughtfully measured pace, so I never felt overwhelmed. Make no mistake, the Destined One is extremely powerful.
Alright, so the Destined One is extremely powerful. He's talking about Monkey King. Monkey King is extremely freaking powerful. The lore actually says like he's one of like the gods or like the demigods. You know, it's cool, man. Like we're finally getting to experience something that's sticking to the original lore of the books or maybe the folklores. Some people even worship Monkey King, you know, so you can't really say they're just lores. Damn! Oh, that feels satisfying.
Being in control of him is definitely a heck of a power trip. Even beyond the many powers and abilities he has at his disposal, nothing beats the feeling of just slamming a 50-foot bow staff down onto an enemy's head.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Look at that, dude.
But I still had to be smart with how I used my spells due to the fact that mana restoration is actually very difficult. This is where the resource management aspect of combat comes into play. I had to carefully consider what spells were actually worth the mana cost, whether I should save them for a more difficult second phase of a fight, and whether or not I could capitalize on the opportunity if I were to spend the mana in the first place. For instance, even though it's my most powerful spell, I often had to hold off on casting my Pluck of Many spell that duplicates my character since it has an extremely high mana cost.
So it's bad news. Seems like we can't keep using the duplication skill. Seems like it has like a really high cost. I don't know whatever that mana cost is. Once I play the game, I'll get to know it. But yeah, it seems like it's going to take a lot of cooldowns or maybe a collection of a lot of whatever particles he's talking about. So it's bad news, man. I really wanted to use this particular ability as much as I possibly could. Because it's one of the coolest abilities, right? Coolest ones.
Cast it at a bad time, the boss could simply wipe out all of my clones with an AoE attack before they even got a chance to get some damage in. Sometimes the adjustment I had to make when I was stuck on a boss was a simple change in how I used my abilities, and the act of coming up with a new strategy and having it pay off was always extremely satisfying.
Oh, I love the headbutt. I absolutely love this huge thing that he just turns into. I think it was one of the bosses that he defeated before.
While
that headbutt is cool.
Where Wukong is at its best, there's also a highly respectable amount of enemy variety in its regular fights.
So satisfying.
Level design is of the wide linear variety, usually with a clear main path that leads from checkpoint to checkpoint, but plenty of opportunities to venture off that path to discover optional goodies. The rewards for exploration are great too. I've found rare crafting materials to make new weapons and armor, special enemies that drop a new spirit skill, curio items that I could equip to enhance my build, and treasure chests that might permanently increase my max health, mana, or stamina.
Oh, so it's mana. What is mana? I think it's like the skill points that you get. You basically need to collect them by killing more enemies and collecting all of these manas from like the world. I also heard like the game actually allows you to go back to like the previous levels, but then you don't really have like anything to do in the previous levels usually. But still, the game actually allows you to go back to the previous level in order to check out that location once again. So that's a cool stuff. You know, it's really cool that the game allows you to do that, pretty much like God of War. So you could go back and revisit and stuff. Sometimes the map is so huge, like some people claim that the map is so huge that you kind of just get confused as to where you are, because the game doesn't have a map, which means that you'll have to navigate the entire map because if you remember it. So if you don't remember the map, you're not going to be able to navigate through it. So you're basically going to get lost and confused. That's a big bummer, honestly. I think they should have had like a map. I don't know why they don't, but still, I kind of just appreciate it that the game is a bit more immersive at this point, that they don't have all of this stuff.
All of which made the time that I took to find them well spent. On top of that, there are also several secret boss fights to discover.
Oh, here it is. I think this is the dude that he transformed into that just headbutts. What is he named? Elder Jinchi.
Key items with mysterious uses that I still haven't figured out, and plenty of more reasons to stray from the beaten path and keep an eye constantly scanning the environment.
I wonder if this game has like a endgame plus, you know?
The main,
because you have like all of these things that you unlock, and then you could replay the game having all of these stuff.
Wukong is one of the most gorgeous games I've ever played.
Definitely.
Every environment is brimming with detail, from the chipped pieces of bark on the trees in the forest to the real-time deformation of the snow as the Destined One moves through it while dragging his staff along. Not only that, but the animation is impeccable too. with wonderful touches and flourishes, like the way your character will do a little hop step when locked onto an enemy, then change to strafing around them as opposed to just running straight on while keeping their head turned.
That's nice. Actually, yeah. The animations I kind of just noticed, it's pretty darn cool, right? Comparing with any of the other games, I think this one's animations, they're really freaking good. Really freaking good. Don't you guys agree? Now, if you guys want to support this game, drop a like on this stream. I would really appreciate it. Every single one of you guys, I know most of you guys probably just forgot to drop a like. I would really, honestly appreciate it if you guys could just go ahead, show your support. Please, just take a few seconds. Drop a like. Really goes a long way for the stream, for the channel, for the content, and for the game, bro. He is more or less OP, says John, but the choices that he makes during the journey to the west makes his more vulnerable. Yeah, exactly. As far as what I've read from the Monkey King lore, I've been reading this like ever since I was a kid. I know the story. I've seen some animated series or like movies of Monkey King, you know, and I really fell in love with this whole storyline, dude. I was a huge fan of this character, and when I got to know that they're making a game, I was so freaking excited. So excited. And it's good that they've stuck to the lore. And that's one big thing people just don't like in the Western media, right? Like the Western review outlets. They just don't like it when people are sticking to the lore and, you know, respecting some of these original content. They just don't like it. They just want to have diversity, change of stuff, change the genders, make him whatever, you know, whatever he desires to be. I mean, it's a monkey, dude. Come on. It's a monkey. You're playing as a monkey, and you still have a problem with that. I honestly think that these guys got some mental issues. That's basically all explanation that we can give. Honestly, that's it.
Sound design is fantastic as well, with epic drum-thumping battle themes.
Oh, no. I don't want to hear the sound designs.
All that said, this game really would have benefited from a map, plain and simple. The lands you explore in Wukong are beautiful, no doubt, but they're far too big and too crammed with secrets to not give you some sort of navigational help, especially...
Exactly, that's what I was saying. You know, most of the guys that I got to speak about who are actually reviewing this game, they said that, you know, the game doesn't have a map. I mean, it literally has a tiny map over here, but still, it's useless. So the game doesn't have like a map.
The second and third chapters. This, along
Hold on,
with
that's
the
not a
fact
map?
that it's
It's not a map. Okay, it's just a posture. So it seems like the game definitely doesn't have a map at all. So it's gonna basically just limit your ways of moving around, because you don't know where you are and you don't know where to go to in order to start like the next objectives. It kind of just are left in order to explore the world, and it's just too big in order to explore. That's basically what he's saying.
what obstacles
And I personally find it very, very good that the game actually has this mechanism.
actually be climbed over, and what's an invisible wall can make exploration quite cumbersome. It's a good thing that the rewards are worth it.
You see, that's what I was saying. Like this part right here, where he's just trying to jump and jump and jump, and then he's unable to do it. This is basically what like the invisible wall glitches that we have in the game as of now. It's just now. I'm pretty sure that it will be fixed once the day one patch comes out. So until then, I think we basically need to hold back in terms of how the reviewers are reviewing this game at this point. You know, that's good for all of us.
However, it's hard not to feel like all of Wukong's splendor and detail came at a great cost. I experienced numerous crashes, with one particular heartbreaker happening right after defeating an extremely tough boss that I then had to defeat again. Several others were more minor and would typically happen as I was loading up a new chapter or fast traveling to another level, but they eventually add up to a lot of frustration. In addition,
Yo, that is bad stuff, honestly. If you're basically trying to battle through one of the toughest bosses in the game and then your game crashes and you have to do it all over again, it would definitely mess a lot of people's minds up, you know. I think they should fix that, and hopefully the day one patch fixes all of that stuff, because as of now it's just too early since they played like an early build. I think, you know, they should have fixed that in like the early build as well. I think no game should suffer such issues, but since this is the issue, I hope they do it. I will, of course, once I get my hands on this game, I'll let you guys know if all of this stuff is fixed, maybe if it's worth it or not. Make sure to go ahead, subscribe to the channel so you guys can stay tuned with all the reviews and all the stuff that I'm going to be making for this game as content.
Into that, several times during important cutscenes, all dialogue, audio, and subtitles would drop out completely, leaving me without any clue as to what was being talked about and no way to rewatch the cutscene. Characters would occasionally switch to speaking Chinese all of a sudden, despite me.
That's funny. Characters suddenly just transfer their language from English to Chinese. I don't speak English no more.
Having the audio set to English, the lip flaps of the English dub often don't even remotely match what's being spoken.
Oh, thank me to God. Oh, finally then, the free bells sang. Disciples come, I hear.
And
what the hell is he speaking? I don't think it was like a... I kind of feel like it was not like a transition from Chinese to English. I think it was like a weird dialogue that this character speaks. I don't know. I mean, it just felt like it's a smooth transition. I don't know if that was like a glitch or a bug in the game. I just think that this dude did not understand what it's all about. Is it? I think it's intentionally done right here.
And most of the journal entries you find along the way haven't even been localized yet into English. The worst, though, was one particular fight in which the boss would plunge me down through the ground during the transition to its final phase, only to have me fall through the world once I regained control of my character. This kept on happening to the point where I thought my game was unavoidably bugged and I wouldn't be able to reach the end. But my insanity of trying the same thing over and over again eventually yielded a different result for no discernible reason. These are the kind.
Okay, so it seems like, yeah, there are some minor bugs in the game. It could be game breaking sometimes, but yeah, it could definitely get frustrating. It could definitely get frustrating.
Kinds of technical problems that game science will hopefully look to address in post-launch patches. And it's not outside the realm of possibility, as even Cyberpunk 2077 was eventually whipped into shape after its own buggy launch.
But the thing is, IGN gave Cyberpunk 2077 a 9 out of 10. And the game was literally unplayable. I don't know why this game got like a pretty bad score. And, a lot of complaints. But then, yeah, I kind of get it. It's buggy, but then, I don't think it's as buggy as what they claim sometimes, because most of the review outlets, they gave pretty darn good score for this game. Except IGN and Screen Rant and
I hope that those fixes
all those guys, GameSpot.
I still wholeheartedly think that the things that Black Myth Wukong does so right are worth dealing with those problems. I would love to be able to recommend it without those caveats.
Alright, so the final score that they've given for this game is going to be 8 out of 10, which is great. Reviewed on PC, also available on PlayStation. Now, I honestly think that the reason why they kind of had like a bad experience is because they played this game on the PC version. They should have honestly tried on the game on the console version as well before reviewing it, because I know most of the players who played this game on the console version, they did not have any sort of issues. So it seems like it's just a PC exclusive issue at this point. It's not something that's going to transfer over to like the consoles, because most of the times PC games are bugged. Most of the times PC games are not optimized well, and I think this is just one of those cases before the day one patch, so it's kind of expected. And that's basically what's happening here. Joshua says that Black Myth Wukong pre-order just started to pre-download. Yeah, I know. So the game is currently downloadable. The preload started, and it's 104 gigs on the PlayStation 5. 104 gigs. That's a huge size to download. And the game is actually 40 hours long. If you guys didn't know this, 40 hours long. There's a lot of content that you could explore. Lot of content. That's good stuff. The game has New Game Plus. The developer said it on day one. Oh, is it? That's good. That's actually good. If it has NG Plus, that's a pretty good stuff. Can't agree more. Respect the original stories. Yeah, they are. Yeah, 50% of the game. Yeah, I kind of just like the fact that you need to go ahead and find stuff out in the world your own self, rather than just relying on the game entirely. to like lead you on, because it's an adult game. It's not children's game that you need like a full-on guidance in order to know what to do. So I think most of the adults are definitely gonna find that useful. But yeah, it seems like it's all good stuff. There is a lot of good reviews out there, as well as a lot of bad reviews from well-known sources like IGN. They are the ones that also kind of butchered Days Gone. The game is really worth it, man. I really feel sad that Ben Studios never really got a chance to go ahead and complete their journey in order to make Days Gone sequel. That's really saddening, because that game was really incredible, amazing. I was really looking forward to it. It's never going to happen. It's all because of whatever they did with the reviews. And it's the same thing that's happening with Black Myth Wukong as well, because initially when Black Myth Wukong was announced, and when it was an actual thing, when they decided that the game was going to come out, they gave us a release date and all that stuff. The Sweet Baby INC, I don't know how many of you guys know them. They are basically like a cult, or like an organization that kind of just control what happens in movies and video games and basically all the entertainment media. So they just try to push on all of these woke agendas, and if your game is not woke enough, they are going to demand money in order to not say bad things about the game. And as we know, IGN has been a lot more supportive in terms of a lot more suspicious in terms of them working with these type of agendas, and people, it's not really of a huge surprise that people might already know what all these outlets are, and most of the reviews are really not true these days, man. They're just super lame. They're just all fake. Everything is fake, and some people are really, really disappointed in China. So as you can see, Grums on Twitter, he says that Black Myth Wukong is scoring well in most places, including 10 out of 10s in China. Now, this is also the same review outlet, which is IGN China. They have given this game a 10 out of 10, whereas the IGN Western media have given this game 8 out of 10. And they have a lot of issues. But then, IGN China, they don't have any issues. And most of the outlets don't have any issues. Now, but US outlets are scoring 1 to 2 points below, with some outlets like Screen Rant dinging them for a lack of inclusive and diversity, a lack of basically woke content, which is a ridiculous standard for a game. Some are citing bugs. Yeah, if you honestly say that the issue is just the bugs, I would honestly believe it. But as far as what we know, it seems like bugs is not the issue. Now, there's been a lot of people that have been vocal in the Chinese community. They say that, F IGN, F all the G stuff, F all the Western games media. The game is absolutely wonderful. Now, if you guys are thinking whether or not if you should go ahead and buy this game, I honestly say it feels like this game is actually going to be good. It feels like all the reviews, even though it has all the negative reviews, the game is definitely going to be good. So go ahead, give it a shot, try it. I'm pretty sure that you guys are going to love it. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to love it. So yeah, let's just go ahead, try this game out together, and I will put on my honest reviews in my upcoming videos. So let me know what do you guys think about Black Myth Wukong in general and the entirety of this game. Let me know. Now, with that being said, we've also got some issues that's actually going on with Assassin's Creed. I don't know. There's been a lot of stuff that people have been speaking about Assassin's Creed. And lately, it seems like, Ubisoft is laying off a lot of employees. And this is also coming from Grums here, where he says that, Ubisoft has laid off 45 people from their San Francisco and North Carolina locations. Now, it looks like mostly marketing or supporting staffs are the one that actually got removed from Ubisoft. And the reason what Grums says is because, he kind of just assumes that Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows pre-orders are not going good. Now, this is the time to make the most impact by not buying Assassin's Creed Shadows and Star Wars Outlaws, he says. But I don't think it's going to be affecting the sales of the game. But maybe, who knows, this could be like the case why Ubisoft is cutting off their employees. Maybe they're just not getting enough money from the pre-orders ever since they had like the Yasuke stuff that's going on. People really hated Assassin's Creed Shadows for what they've done for not sticking out for what the game really has to stand for, or like what the original, you know, history of the game should stand for. But of course, Assassin's Creed games have never been historically accurate, and I don't know why people kind of just hope for this game to be historically accurate, but there's a lot of disrespect that was done. Yo, look, and also, look at this. This is what I was talking about, you know, the pink stuff. Whoever made this, you deserve an award. You definitely deserve an award. That's funny. So it just seems like, you know, he basically states, Grumps basically states that Assassin's Creed in general, he feels that the game is not really getting any sort of what do you call, like the pre-orders, like what Ubisoft expected. And it's not a huge surprise. Of course, there's a lot of controversy going on. A lot of people actually do end up hating this game, but Ubisoft claims that there is nothing wrong with the pre-orders. People are just loving our game. It's just a very small minority of people that kind of just got mad about this game not being, you know, following all the realistic stuff. So it seems like that's not the case, at least what some people believe, you know. And I want to know, what do you guys think about Assassin's Creed Shadows? Will you get the game? Are you pre-ordering it? And I know some people actually did comment on my previous video. They said that they're not pre-ordering this game, and they're just gonna take their stand. They're not gonna do it. They're not gonna support the DEI stuff. And you know, it makes sense. If you feel that's what you need to do, go ahead, do it. But I'm an Assassin's Creed fan, you know, and I'm definitely going to play this game. Now, as you can see, Grumps says that, you know, they have the actual pre-order numbers for Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows. If things don't turn out on launch day, there will be 4 deeper cuts. So currently it seems like the pre-order numbers, according to Grumps, seems to be very low for Assassin's Creed Shadows and Star Wars Outlaws. And that's the reason why Ubisoft has even been putting out that apology statement that they just did recently. And it doesn't seem like that worked out very well. It kind of just aggravated the fans even more, you know. And right now, it seems like, you know, Ubisoft is just hoping for like the day one purchase. If the sales doesn't mark up to whatever they expected, I think it's just completely going to change as to how Ubisoft will work on their future games, if they will implement any DEI stuff or whatever it is, you know. Most probably it's completely based on what fans and what the community have to give feedbacks and all that stuff. Everything depends on us as gamers. Everything depends on us as gamers. So it definitely means a lot if you guys could just go ahead, leave your feedbacks in the comments, and let Ubisoft know basically what you guys personally feel. If you're okay with it, if you're not okay with it, whatever it is, let them know. It's definitely going to help. It's going to make a huge difference, and trust me, it definitely is. Now, G80008N, he says that I will not pre-order any of these games. I'm going to step back and watch how they do before I buy it. That's definitely one of the best decisions. Don't pre-order games. Honestly, you know, I'm getting Black Myth Wukong. I know that the game is great and whatever. I'm still not pre-ordering the game. Even if I want to get some of these pre-order bonuses, I'm just going to do it like one day before the launch of this game, because it kind of just forces these developers in order to work much harder, put in more work in order to, you know, make fans happy. So if you pre-order the game already, they're just going to be like, you know, people are so stupid, they're just going to buy whatever we just push in there. So it doesn't really matter. Let's just give them some half-baked, fucked up game. They're still going to buy it. So that's the kind of impression you definitely don't want to be getting out of this whole situation. So always keep in mind not to pre-order games. It's one of the worst decisions to do. Don't listen to others. Ishak. Don't listen to others. This game is the game of the year 2024, and that's safe to say. Honestly, yeah. Hopefully it turns out to be game of the year. I can't really say it because I haven't played the game, but hopefully it turns out to be game of the year. So, yeah. How long have we been streaming? I don't know. How long has it been since we've started streaming? I think it's been like 2 hours now, maybe. Yeah, 2 hours now. So just, I guess I'm just gonna get off. It was really fun to just hang out, chill out with you guys, and have a conversation. Thanks to every single one of you guys who showed up on today's stream. Thank you so much, lads. It really means a lot for all of your support and everything that you guys have been showing so far. If you guys could just go ahead, drop a like on the stream before we end it, it would really mean a lot to me. Subscribe if you guys want to stay tuned with all the latest content. And thank you so much, Neo Tokyo. Thank you so much for tuning in. The stream is almost ending. The Black Myth Wukong opening world. Is it open world? No, I don't think. No, it's not open world. It's kind of level design, but then, yeah, it's kind of semi-open world. If you played God of War, you probably know, right? It's not an open world. It's kind of a semi-open world where you can basically just go around, do all the stuff in the open world. At the same time, it's kind of limited. Not like GTA kind of an open world. You probably get what I'm saying. So yeah, it was really amazing hanging out with all of you guys. Thank you so much. We're at 90 likes. I would really appreciate it if you guys could just drop a like, get the likes to 100 before we end the stream. It would really, really make my day. Thank you. Have a good day. Smoke one, drink one. Yeah, definitely. Have a drink, have a smoke, have a good time, all of you. Also, one more thing. Could you do a stream about Crimson Desert? Yeah, definitely, man. I'm really looking for the Crimson Desert. I think my next stream, we can literally just focus on Crimson Desert. We can definitely do that. We'll focus on Crimson Desert. Whatever games you want to suggest, leave them down below in the comments. I would definitely go ahead and, I would love to, listen to you guys and work on the titles that you guys are interested in. Would you guys like me to go ahead and cover Call of Duty as well? And also, would you guys like me to do a stream where you're playing Delta Force Hawk Ops? Delta Force Hawk Ops, it's a really amazing game. If you would like me to do it, let me know. And also, I'm going to be dropping some free keys for Delta Force Hawk Ops. I'll be giving away some keys on Twitter after this stream ends. So make sure to go ahead, check out my Twitter account. The links are in the description. There's like a link tree description in the description. Go ahead, check out my Twitter profile. I will be posting as many keys as I possibly can. I will give away all the keys so that you guys can enjoy the game for yourself as well. So thank you guys so much for all the support, everything that you guys have been showing. I really, really appreciate it. Hello, Siphon, the stream is just ending up. It's really unfortunate. It came a bit late, buddy. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Hope you guys did enjoy. I think you can actually rewatch the stream, or maybe I'll just make a highlight and post it on my channel if you guys want to watch that. So yeah. So thank you so much. Have a great day, all of you lads. You're amazing people, and I will see you guys on the next stream, which I probably think I'll do it after 2 days. So I will see you guys. I'll just schedule the stream so you guys can go ahead and like it, or just set the reminder. So we will keep streaming more from now on. Probably like 2 days once. I'm gonna be streaming every 2 days once, and then the rest of the days I'm gonna dedicate just for the videos. And whenever I'm free, we can just do a free chill out session. So I would love to have all of you guys around on this channel. So yeah, with that being said, hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Until then, or the next stream. Until then, take it easy, fams, and goodbye. So here we go. Let me just go and end this stream.